Right. And so we continue looking at financial accounting and doing some fine touches, some revisions. Question number 10 is reading, suppose that a small company invests 60,000 in a project. So the project generates a cash inflow of 30,000 a year for each of 3 years and nothing thereafter. Book income in each year is equal to this cash flow less an allowance for depreciation of 20,000 a year. For simplicity, we assume there are no taxes. We are to calculate the project's internal rate of return. How do you go about this one? Anyone? To share insights? How can we calculate for the IRR, internal rate of return? All right. I'll come back to the internal rate of return. Let me show you how to calculate the IRR, then we'll come back to it. Let's calculate the ARR, the accounting rate of return. Sometimes it is also called the average rate of what? Return. So what is more important to us to understand is the formula that is being used when you're finding the ARR, the accounting rate of return. Okay, so what formula do we use when we are finding so what is the formula that we use when you're finding the ARR, the accounting rate of return? So accounting rate of return, ARR, is found by saying the average annual, okay? The average annual profits. Now pay attention, I am teaching. Average annual profits, all that divided by what? By the average initial investment plus the scrap value plus the scrap value or the salvage value. That is very important. Multiplied by 100. Okay? That is how you find the accounting rate of return or the average rate of return. You say the average annual profits. Now, listen to the question carefully. The question is asking about the annual profits, not the cash flows. So sometimes when you are given the cash flows, make sure you calculate for the profits, okay? You have to calculate for the profits if you're given the cash flows. Look for the profit, the net profit. So if you are given the cash flows, the profit can be calculated by saying the profit can be cash flow minus the depreciation. If you have any depreciation in the question, again, minus what? Minus the taxes. Then what you have now is the profit that we are talking about, the profit. So this profit, if it is for all the years, then you have to divide by the what? By the number of years, so that you can find the annual profit. That is very, very important. So I repeat, if you have the cash flows, you have to less depreciation. Okay, you can less the depreciation if you have the cash flows, and then less the taxes. Then that will give you the profit, right? So those profits. Okay. So that profit, the total profit that you get, and is what you're going to use here. Sometimes you may be given a lot of the cash flows, okay? You are given a lot of the cash flows, the cash inflows. So how are you going to calculate for the profit? That is very important. You just consolidate all the cash flows, add all the cash flows, then find the depreciation. Someone does not know how to find depreciation. Listen carefully. I am saying you have to add all the cash flows. After adding up all the cash flows that you have received, after adding up all the cash flows that you have received, okay, then you have to less what? Depreciation. Now, when it comes to the issues of finding depreciation, if you are not given depreciation, depreciation can be found by removing, follow this nicely, the costs, the cost of the investment, okay, minus what? The scrap value or the salvage value. That gives you the depreciation for the whole life of the project, up to the point when you have made the sale or the disposal of this non-current asset. I don't know if people are getting these notes. I am saying that depreciation, if you don't have in the question, is found by saying the cost of the investment minus the scrap or the salvage value. If you at all you have any scrap value, then if you don't have the scrap value, it means that the asset has completely lost all its value. Then the scrap value, the salvage value shall be 0. Is that clear? Hello? Are the people following?
Yeah, following.
Yes. That is how you find the depreciation. So the total cost of that initial investment minus the salvage value, that gives you the total depreciation for those number of the years up to the time when you sold the asset. So if you want to find now the annual, okay, the annual depreciation per month, per year, this is where you divide this the depreciation that you have found by what? By the number of years. Is that clear? Divide the depreciation that you have found by the number of years. Don't worry, I'm not just answering the question directly. I am teaching so that you understand the principles or answer the question. So it is depreciation divided by the what? By the number of years. That will give you annual depreciation, like how much value that the non-current asset was losing each what? Each month. Oh, sorry, each year. Right. So when you are finding now the accounting rate of return from the annual profit, okay, the annual profit, because the annual profit where you have these constant flows like 30, you just say 30 minus that annual depreciation, minus the annual depreciation. The difference that you find is the net profit. So net profit minus the tax, there will be the tax rate if you have the taxes, okay? Minus the tax, calculate the tax rate from the net profit and remove the taxes, the taxes from that so that you can have the annual profit. So it is that annual profit that you have to put here, okay? Yeah, the annual profit, less depreciation. People have gotten the key points, right? If we have all followed down, then it's okay. We can go ahead and calculate and do the calculations. I've said that the average investment plus the scrap value, that is the initial investment divided, initial investment plus the salvage value divided by what? By 2, because you're averaging the 2 and then you'll be fine. Okay, let's find the average annual profits here. So we are given the cash flows of what? 30 a year. We are looking for the annual cash flows, meaning they are yearly cash flows. So we already know that the cash flow that we have for 1 year is what? Is 30,000. Is that clear? 30,000 less depreciation for a year. This depreciation is for 1 year. That's what we have been told in the question. If you are not given the annual depreciation, you're just given the total depreciation, you have to divide by the number of years to find the annual depreciation. Does that help? So the annual depreciation in this question is 20,000. So what is the total average? What is the total, what's this, profit? What is the profit?
10,000.
Yeah, it is 10,000. Okay. So that is the annual profit. Now we need to average you have to average the annual profit. To average the annual profit, like this difference, like the difference shall be divided by 3. And what do you find? The years are 3. What do you find as the average? Saying average annual profit, not annual profit, no, average annual profit.
It will be
So what's the
3,333.4.
3,300 and what? Like this, 0.4.
Yes.
Okay. So that now divided by, you have a question? I don't know, the network is really bad. There's sound.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
I was saying that the answer is 3,283.333333. It's not 4.
Or not 4. Okay. Okay, thank you. So it's 3 recurring. Okay. These are average annual profits. So the numerator is 3,333.33 divided by. Let's calculate for the average investment. This one, the initial investment is 60,000. Yeah, we have 60,000. Okay, we have 60,000. Are we given the scrap value? We're not given the scrap value. Have you followed that? Because when you multiply this 20, the depreciation, because it was losing, the cost of the investment was 60,000, right? And each year it was losing what? 20,000. Are you following? It was losing 20,000. So 20,000 times 3 years is giving us 60,000, isn't it? Right. So it shows us that this investment, like what's this? The asset has lost all its life value. Okay. Because the cost is equal to depreciation. So once the total cost, the initial cost is equal to the total depreciation of the investment or of the asset, then we mean that the salvage value is 0. Is that clear? It has got no scrap value. This asset has no scrap value. You can no longer sell it. Okay. So here, where we put the scrap value, we are going to add 0. There is 0. And that divided by 2. Set by 2.
So it's 30,000.
It's it's 30,000. And where did I find this? Is the average number of years are how many? Sorry, the average this is 3 years, not 2. Like you are dividing this by the number of years. Like so, there are 3 years here, giving us 20, right?
Okay.
It's yeah 20,000, right? Divide that by the number of years, giving us 20,000. So what is the accounting rate of return?
Yeah. 0.166666666.
0.1666. So we can say 0.17, isn't it? Which is 17%. So we can approximate it to 17%. Right. Is that clear? Someone has a question? Or someone has a different answer? Is it still okay?
Maybe you can explain again, sir.
Okay. Let's start to explain again. So we are saying to find the accounting rate of return, which is also called the average rate of return, you should find the average annual profits divided by the average investment plus the salvage value. Okay, so that is what you do. So to find the average annual profit, you have to find the annual profit first of all. Okay, so annual profits. If you are given any profits in the question, it's okay. You just have to find out, are these annual profits or what? Okay. Sometimes in a question, you can be given the net profits. If you're given the net profit and you're given taxes, you have to subtract the taxes from the net profit, okay? So that you can find that, that annual profit. Now, it is that annual profit of the year that you should divide by the number of years of that asset or that project, so that you can find the average annual profits and divide by the investment, the cost of the investment, plus the what, the scrap value of that asset, the scrap value. Everything divided by the number of what, the number of years. That is your denominator, and multiplied by 100. That's how you go about it. So if you just have the cash flows, you have to less the depreciation and less the taxes. Is that clear? Yeah, these are most of the things that I've added here are not in the question. That's I was just mentioning them so that in case you find such, you are able to have an idea. Okay, is that clear now? Is the cell logged out? No, he isn't. Okay. Now let's find let's calculate the internal rate of return. For us to calculate the internal rate of return, we know that we need the NPV, right? We need the net present value. We need the net present value. Okay. So let's have here the years. Do we use what do we use? Do we use the profits, or we use the cash flows? Which one do we use to find the net present values? It is the cash flows, isn't it? There is year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3. There are 3 years here. So in year 0, you invested what? 60,000, right? So in year 1, you received 3,000, 30,000. Again, the second year you received the 30,000 and the 30,000 the other year. Does that help?
Yes.
No. Yeah. So we have to discount these now. Now listen. Whenever you are not given the discounting rates, yeah, in under IRR, this is where we also call it a sacred guess. You have to look at the rate that you can use, because you need two rates. The other one that will give you a positive NPV, and the other one that will give right. So you need the other one that will give you a positive NPV, and the other one that will give you what? A negative. So you can just start with the N of them. So in this case, we can even start with 15% or the same 17% that we found from ARR. Let's try to start with the 17%. We want to find the discounting factor at 17% and see if our net present value will be positive or negative. That is if you are not given the rate to use the discounting rate. So you can use because what matters is that whatever rate that you're going to use, it will guide you how far you can go to choose the second rate. Okay, so let's discount these cash flows at 17% and see the NPV. To discount, you just say 1 divided by 1 plus R, to the power n. I'm now teaching you NPV and the IRR at the same time. Okay, let's discount. So we use 1.17 to the power 0. When you do to the power 0, this will be 0. What about when you say to the power 1? What will be the discounting factor? What is going to be our discounting factor? Hello?
On which one, sir? Sorry.
On number 1, when you say to the power 1, here.
Oh, okay.
0.8, sir.
Can I use the table?
0.854.
You can even use the table if you have it. 0. What?
854.
854. What about the second one?
So 17%. Second year it's 0.731. I'm using the table.
Okay.
And then year
People can.
3. Year 3 it's 0.624.
Hoping that the figures have been confirmed using the formula. Have people confirmed these figures?
You're correct, sir.
Okay. And now let's go ahead and find the net present value. That times that will give us negative what? 60,000. People are almost ready for the exam, Kansh. 30,000 times 0.854. What does it give us? We can do this fast.
That is 25,620.
Right. The second one?
It's giving me 21,930.
21,930. What about the third one?
Sir. The discounting factor in year 0, is it 0 or 1?
It is. Oh, it should be 1.
Should be 1, not 0.
Okay.
The same. Is it 1?
3 times that. Oh, 3 times that. This times that.
$18,720.
18,720. Thank you. So what you do, you add all these that are positive and then subtract the 60,000. Then you give us the NPV. Mhm. Add these that are positive and subtract 60,000. What is the NPV? This is
It's giving me 6,270.
60,000.
Yes, 6,270.
Negative or positive?
Positive.
60,000 and what?
270.
And the 270. So you've seen now this.
6,000. Sir, not
Mhm.
60,000. 6,270.
270. So you've seen the NPV is still big and is positive. So what are we supposed to do now? So that we can have the negative one. And this number is still too big. Right. It's a bigger NPV. Hello?
So I
What?
think we would have used is 17% always recommended, or we would have used 5%?
No, it's not recommended. I've said, like, when you're not given, you just do a guess of the first one, then it will guide you how you're going to move the second one. So you're saying we do it at 5%. Like, it's not like there is no discounting rate here. So when you're not given, you just try out. There is what we call try and error method. This is what we call the try and error method. You try the first one somewhere. What rates it gives you.
So if we
But
have to use a different one, then we are starting everything over? Or we are just trying to change the discounting factor to get the negative
we can
NPV?
just try to change the discounting factor and try to see how it behaves at what rate. Let's try to do it at 10%.
What about 5?
Okay, let's bring it at 5% and see how it behaves at 5%. So of course the first one will be 1. Give us the rate from the table fast so that we move fast.
Year 1, 0.952.
0.952. Year
Year
2.
2, 0.907.
Year 3.
0.864.
0.864. Okay, we can do the multiplications now. The first one,
28,560. 28,560.
what about the second one?
Uh, 27,210.
And then 210. I see where the challenge is. The next one, actually, the number you find it will be bigger now. Okay. What about the next one?
25,920.
25,920. So just by the look of the things, you can see that these numbers, when you just add them together, it will even be more, it will be way greater. It will be a very big positive NPV. You've seen that, right? Because I said that the discounting rate and the NPV, they move in an opposite direction. If you reduce the discounting rate, then the NPV will go up. So if you wanted to reduce the NPV, you should have increased the what? The discounting rate. Is that clear? Do you get that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, so they move in an opposite direction. So that is how it is done. So from the same 17 that we can do, or just from the same 17 you had done, you can maybe just do another one, like maybe a 25 or 25%. Let's see 25% how it is. Hello?
We increase
And what?
it to 50%. Yes.
Let's try 25. Let's try 25, the first one, and see how it is behaving. The first one will be 1. The next one?
The table ends at 20, so we have to calculate.
Ah, okay. We can. The table ends at 20. Interesting. Let's see how it is. Let's calculate. The table ends at 20. This is interesting. 1.25 to the power 1. What does it give us? We can even calculate this one fast. 1 divided by 1.25, giving us 0.88, 0.800, right?
Yes, sir.
And 1 divided by 1.25 squared, that gives us 0.640. And the 1 divided by 1.25 to the power 3, it gives us 0.512. Okay, the next one will be negative 60. What about the next one? What does it give us now? This one will give us
24,000.
24,000.
4,000.
24,000.
Yes.
What about the second one? The second one,
19,200. 19,200.
19,200. Okay, what about the other one?
15,510.
15,510. Let's add them together and see what happens.
We have negative 1,290.
At least better, isn't it? Is it better? Huh?
Yes.
That's a way better. At least this NPV is small. It's small. Negative what? 1,200 and what? And 90. So now we have found the NPV that is negative. At least it's a little bit smaller negative. It's a little bit a small negative, which simply means that if you had moved to 30, it would even have been smaller than this. You get the point, right? If you had moved up to somewhere 30, it would have been smaller than this. Okay, but it's okay. So we have the negative. We need a positive one. What do we do to find a positive one? You reduce the rate, isn't it? You have to reduce the accounting, the rate, the discounting rate now. because they go in an opposite direction. We can put it where? Where can we put it?
I mean at 15.
15 we found a very big negative NP. Okay, let's try it. But at 17 we found a positive number. Remember at 17 we found a big positive number. Let's try 20.
We'll try 20.
Yes, let's try at 20. First year it gives us what?
0.833.
The second year?
0.694.
694. The other year?
0.579.
0.579. And then you can do your multiplication. That will give us negative 60,000. And that times that. $30,000 times the 0.833.
24,990.
4,990. The second one?
20,820.
What about the third one?
17,370.
17,370. Let's try to add and see what happens. I'm praying it becomes a positive NPV, because otherwise it will be positive. It is positive what?
Uh, 3,108.
1,080.
8.
Okay. Unless, so we have found the other one that is positive, the other one is negative. Then you can use that formula of ours now to do the things. So the IRR is got to what? Ma?
Sorry, but it's only that you've you have rubbed everything on that side, but I think the negative NPV, there was a mistake on the last one. Where you multiply the 30,000 times 0.5112.
It was what?
I tried to raise it, but I think you were so busy. Maybe we should continue.
Okay. Like me, I'm following the figures you're giving me from here.
Yes,
So
it was
Is it
supposed to be 15,000. It was supposed to be 15,360.
360?
Huh?
Yes.
Yes, but what was written there was 15,510, something like that. So it gave
okay.
gave almost
Let's. But what answer are you finding? Is it still a negative NPV or a positive? I think that's the most important
yes,
thing
it's
in
a
the way.
negative. It's a
If it's a
negative.
negative, it's okay. We can proceed. You have gotten that one. So what's that one? What's the formula that you use? I've forgotten. There is that A% plus what? Small a minus B, B minus A, like this. Yeah. So where this one is the percentage that gives us what? The A is the percentage that gives us the positive NPV, right? It was 25%. 25% plus the positive NPV was was it 25% that gave us positive? It was 20%, isn't it?
Sir,
20% gave us.
A is a small rate.
Okay, sir. So it is 20%. And the amount you found is 3,180 divided by 1,000, 1,000.
No, the same 318.
The same 3,180. 3,180. Then negative plus 1,290. Was it something like this? Times 25 minus 20. So what do you find in between? Add these. What do you find in between here? $3,180 plus 1,290 is equal to that. So 3,180 divided by the answer. Right. Where is it now? I've lost it. Everything has been lost. Okay, you have it. So you had 20% plus in between here is 0.71140 times the 5% here. So that times 5, it gives us 3.5570 plus 20%, so that you can have 23%, right? You can have 23%, 23.557 something, and you can round this off to 24%. Is that clear? As your IRR. Does that help? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Do we need to compare it with 17%?
No, because the 17 is not cost of capital. Understand? Yeah, unless it was cost of capital. Yeah, so if you see the way how this question was structured, it was not even asking you whether you accept or what, because it never had the other information. So that's why they left it hanging like this. Okay. So that's about the investment appraisals and investment decisions. Any question? Is there any question? You pay attention to the question number 4, and it is reading. GT Limited unlisted company. Check the word unlimited, unlisted. Company has just paid a dividend per share of 12 ngwe. The dividend is expected to grow at the rate of 5% per year. So GT is entirely equity financed. HP PLC is a listed company. So there is that difference. This one is a listed company in the same business. Okay. So HP PLC is all equity financed and has a beta of 1.6. Okay. So the company has a gearing ratio of 2.4. Right. The listed company has that gearing ratio. Then the risk-free rate is 5% and the market return is 15%. The tax rate is 25% per year. Estimate the share price. Okay. So to start with, you have to start understanding by the meaning, get an understanding of the meanings of the two words. What do you understand by a listed and unlisted company? Just a quick one. What do you understand by that?
And the other one is listed on the stock exchange. The other one is not.
So what's the difference between unlisted company and a listed company? In terms of the operations. Mr. Stanley, you have a hand. Is that a hand? I see you writing something on my screen. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was trying to have. Okay, the listed one, it's the share price is determined by stock exchange. While it's unlisted, the unlisted one, they are not determined, the share price are not determined by stock exchange.
Okay. All right. So, all right, okay. So usually they unlisted the company, just as said. This one is more like a private company. It does not sell shares to the public. Like since it's not listed on the exchange, the shares are not sold via the stock exchange. They are sold over the counter. That is to start with. So to calculate the share price, we are going to use the dividend growth model. And we know that to use the dividend growth model to find the share price shall be given as the D naught, which is just the X dividend that had just been paid, 1 plus the growth rate divided by the what's this? The RE, which is the cost, the return on equity for that company minus the growth rate. Like this is still the same thing. It is still same as that one that you call as this one. Cost of equity is equal to D1 over P naught plus G. Still the same formula. They're just trying to manipulate this formula. Still the same thing. So now, look at the components that we need to find we are looking for the share price. What do we need? We need the D naught. We have the dividend, 12 ngwe. We have the growth rate already. We don't have the what? The return on equity. Okay, we don't have the cost of equity. So we need to calculate for the cost of equity. How can we calculate the cost of equity? So we can use the capital asset price model again. So this is a question that involved all the two models at the same time. You need to use the capital asset price model, CAPM. So the cost of equity is going to be given by the risk-free rate times the asset beta times the RM, the return from the market, minus the risk-free rate. Okay, but we have the risk-free rate. We also have got the return from the market as 15%. We have the beta, but this beta that we have is not for GT company. You get, ka? The beta that we have is for the other company. It's for HP company, and HP is actually a listed company. Right. So HP being a listed company, it means that its beta is actually levered or is geared. Okay, so being a geared beta, this beta that you have here is an equity beta. The question is saying that, Vasa, calm down. You're speaking so fast. The Sai, you're speaking so fast. You know, the Sai is always aware when he's speaking so fast, so he can always moderate the speed. This is a very important concept. You can speak about this even up to 23 hours, so you can just speak slowly. Okay. The Sai has heard. All right. So we have two companies. GT is an unlisted company, more like a company, a private company per se, to simplify the language. Okay. So now we are told that it has just paid the dividend of 12% of 12 ngwe. Then the dividend is expected to go at 5%. What we are looking for is the price, the share price of this same company. But since we have been given the data about the dividend, I've said that you can use the dividend growth model to find the share price. So the share price using the dividend growth model is given by this same formula that I'm showing you. We have tried to assess the data that we have, the data points that we have in the question. We have realized that we don't have this cost of what? Equity. So we need the cost of equity. To find the cost of equity, we have to read the question further. It says that there is a company called HP, which is a listed company. It is in the same business as GT. This company is all equity financed and it has its own beta, which is the equity beta of 1.6. That is the geared beta. So the company has a gearing ratio of 2.2 to 5. So the risk-free rate is given there, and the risk, the return from the market and the taxes. So what we need to find now is what? Since we know that the return from the market applies to every company in the industry, even the risk-free rate applies to every company. We just need the beta for what? For our company, the GT company, because this beta here, it is not for GT company, it's for the other company. But what you have to understand is that these companies are different. The difference is that the other company is listed, then the other one is not listed. Okay? And the betas that you are given here are the equity beta, they are not asset betas. So you have to ungear the beta, this beta here. When you ungear the beta, this beta, the beta that you are going to find will be a little bit less than this beta, because this beta does measure the level of risk that is involved in investing in that company. We know that it is riskier to invest in a public limited company that is listed on the stock exchange, that is open to the public, as compared to the one that is not listed. That's why when you calculate the beta that we are going to calculate, it shall be less than what? It shall be less than this beta. So we need the beta to use here. That's the point that you are saying. The point is that we need the beta for our company, the GT company. That beta will help us to find the cost of equity so that we can proceed to find the share price. So how can we find All right. Sorry, I'd been kicked out by the network of theirs. We can proceed. We can proceed. So let's find the I was saying we need to ungear this beta. So to ungear this beta, when we ungear the beta, what you're going to find is called the asset beta. So the asset beta is found by saying the geared beta, the equity beta of any company in the industry that is in the same industry with the unlisted company, multiplied by the value of equity of the geared company divided by the value of equity of a geared company plus the value of debt of a geared company multiplied by 1 minus tax. This is the formula that is used to find the asset beta. It assumes that the equity, the company is all like is financed by equity fully. Ma?
Russell.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I think you have just introduced asset beta and equity beta. All this time when dealing with what? When talk of beta. So what's the
Yeah.
difference now about asset beta and what is equity beta?
Yes. Okay, I understand your concern is actually well. It's only that the problem is that people are giving me these questions to solve that have some new concepts that we might not have been. Yeah, like it really looks like a new concept, but people have said I should talk about it. Okay, like the difference between the asset beta and which one is which? the equity beta is that the equity beta that you find is a beta of a listed company. Okay, the equity beta is a beta of a listed company. It does measure the amount of risk that is involved in investing in a what? In a company that is like investing in a listed company. You get that's the equity beta. Then the asset beta, that's the beta that we are going to and this asset beta is also called ungeared beta. This is a beta for a company that is all equity financed, it doesn't have any debt, and it is unlisted company. You got it? That's how different they are. Does that help just a bit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the beta? The beta for the for the listed company is 1.6 multiplied by about the value of equity. You are told that the gearing ratio is 2 to what? Is 2 to 5, which simply means that the value of equity or the ratio of equity is going to be 2 over 7. Is that clear? You add the ratios, 2 plus 5 is 7. So this is going to be the ratio for the value of equity. And what is the ratio? This is debt equity ratio. That's what the gearing ratio means. How much is debt?
When you end, I can continue. The host speaking up.
Kala wakaona ka formula ka?
Pakangena pa. Kachache.
So, guys, so meaning the value of equity on top up, it will be 5. When we follow the ratio,
It will be 2.
2.
Mm.
So it will
Then
be 2 over 2 plus 5. No wonder I said it 2 over 5 over 7.
So 7 will be
VE plus
Right.
VA. That is
yes,
7.
yes.
Oh, okay. So 2. It will be 2 over 7. Oh, okay.
All right. So what will be the value of equity? So for the value of equity, it will be 5 over what? 5 over 7, because this is a debt equity ratio. So the debt one will be 2 over 7. Then the equity one is the one that will go for 5 over 7. So we want the value of equity. Asset beta is equal to the beta of equity times the value of equity over value of equity or plus value of debt times 1 minus tax.
Pastor, are you sharing?
I'm sharing.
No, the body of God.
None of you can see?
No, you can't see.
Mm. No. Okay, are you able to?
When you grade people at way, tell me my exam too.